Hi. Oh, Katie. Oh, I'm so happy that you were able to join me today on the Magnetic Mama Spotlight series. We do know each other. We connected through a business course that we did called Key Person of Influence. And I am really grateful that you're here because we're going to talk about some juicy topics like money and cash flow and all this kind of stuff. So before we dive into all of that, I'd really love you, and I know you know how to answer this question because you did the KPI course and they'd like drill it into your brain. But what do you do?
So thank you for having me. And yes, we do know each other. So I have a bookkeeping business and I specialise in working with tradies to help them sort out their money. So whilst we start with their bookkeeping, it kind of moves into a bit more business consulting as well as we progress through the process. So I help people with money and in varying degrees depending on where they're at the time. So
yeah, of course. I mean, you can have quite a few money complications when you go into business and, as a result of being in business. I read an amazing article yesterday by Katrina Mercator, who we know through KPI as well, and she wrote Marketing for Mums, and she said it just like like for me, I read it and was like, this is exactly why I do what I do. And it said that mums in business really struggle with confidence, financial situations. They need mentorship, they need training, they need support, they need guidance, they need to manage family commitments, and they also need to just dream big. And I'm like, whoa, that's like really on power, on really where I see how that's why I do what I do. And so, there are so many elements to being successful. And I think people associate with how much money you earn with how successful you are.
Yes.
Okay. And that's, maybe positive. If you're earning lots of money, that's great. But if you're a small business, it's very hard to even turn over 50 grand a year.
Yes.
So I'd love to dive into this a little bit more because it's such a juicy, and no one likes talking about sex and money and, but it's important. It's really important. It's so connected to our self-worth. That's what I've discovered on my own money journey. So Katie, why do you do what you do? Because you can go and work for somebody else. You've got so many skills. So why do you do what you do? Why do you help tradies with their cash flow?
So a quick backstory. My parents worked for themselves for 12 years when I was growing up. They had a coffee shop. So 7 days.
That's my coffee.
7 days a week, long hours. I swore, so that was in the 80s and 90s. So I would see my mum sit down and write out her bookkeeping out in a book. And it was horrible, really, to watch them work so much and not get anything from it. And even though we never missed out, we never went without, we never had a lot, but we never missed out. And I swore I would never work for myself. So I went into financial planning, worked for a big bank, did all of that stuff. And then I come across Xero and realized that one program, and there's others on the market that can do similar things now, but for me particularly it was Xero, could change business owners' lives. And so how that went into me just focusing on the tradies was, I've always been a bit of a tomboy. I love motors, boats, bikes, all that sort of stuff. And my husband's a carpenter, my dad's a mechanic, my brother's a landscaper, my in-laws are a building business. It just continues on. So all the males around me are in trades. So some work for themselves and some don't. So it was just a really easy space to get into and be comfortable with and be able to talk to them on their level and understand their businesses quite quickly because I had some idea around it. But also for me, it was very much about if I helped the tradie, then he can be at home at night with his family rather than in the office doing quotes and invoicing. And, whether his wife or partner chose to work or not work, she could, if she wanted to work, she could work and not worry about the business, or she could stay at home with the kids and not have to worry about that. So it was that combination of tomboy / wanting to help the families as well. That just, it was just a really easy space to work in, and I really love it. Like I can make a really big difference really quickly, which is what I love to. I can take them from no cash in the bank to stressed to cash in the bank. And, oh my gosh, we didn't know it could be like this quite quickly. So that's
it's very rewarding
nice.
because, you know, money is essential. We cannot survive without hard cash in our lives.
Yes.
And when I first started my business, I was just like, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm teaching yoga and mindfulness. And it's really like, woo, what about energy? And then you kind of go down that road for a few years. And I've sort of, you know, my business has changed so much, and I've sort of capped myself at 50,000. I sort of, the first few years, I was like, okay, I'm going really well. And it was just me. And then I employed a whole team of teachers to go out and teach kids yoga. And so, of course, the business made money, but then, you know, your profits are going.
Yes.
And then I got rid of that business and then started my own business and then went from full-time to 2 days a week and had Luna. But I'm still around this sort of 45, 50,000. I'm like, wow, what's going on there? You know, why can I not get over that? And I've been doing a bit of reflection around that because it's interesting you mentioned your family. So I'm the only one in my immediate family to have a business. My parents were teachers.
Yeah.
You know, they were very traditional and they worked for 35 years. My dad was at the same school.
Oh, wow.
You know, like really interesting. And actually, when I look at my lineage, you know, my grandfather was very working class and he plucked chickens. And, you know, my dad won a scholarship to Cambridge University, which, of course, he's very proud of.
Yes.
Super smart. And, you know, I guess I definitely come from a middle-class family. You know, my parents have a lovely retirement. They're always off around the world going on cruises. But my dad's a saver. Got to save. Everything's got to be saved. And so I've grown up with this kind of scarcity mindset. I've always got savings, right? I've always had this buffer. And actually right now we're surviving on savings. We're in Brizzy. Yako still hasn't got a job. And so we've got this pocket of money. And of course it's dwindling, right? Dwindling. And so it's been this amazing practice for me to just not freak out every day and trust that the money will come and the money will flow. And I've been doing so much work around my money mindset because when we're in this sense of lack and scarcity and like I would get income, but it would not be a lot, right? I'd get $10 from Udemy or $100 from Amazon. Or I'd be like, that's pathetic, right? Like I need more. And actually that's the worst mindset. So now I actually track every day and I've got a beautiful gratitude journal and I actually write every time money comes in my bank. And it's not just from my business. I get money from my ex-husband. Yay. I get money from all different places, right? But it's income. And I actually realized that we've been here 2 months and I've actually brought in $5,000 in the last 2 months, right? I thought I brought in nothing. I was like, and yes, we're halfway to where we need to be. And that really changed my mindset around that because I'm tracking it. I've never had any idea really. Money goes in, money goes out, there's money there. It's like I didn't know. And I use Xero and I love Xero. I think it's a great system. But for me to physically write it down every day has been a real game changer actually. To be really gratitude, even if it's $10. You know? Like that's still
and it's
better than
interesting
nothing.
You say that. That's right, about writing it down. With my clients, I see it all the time. They're like, oh, I've got no money. And it's like, well, firstly, have you actually invoiced?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have to actually invoice first to get that money back to you. But same deal, they might do some smaller jobs, a few $100s worth, but they don't think of that as money because it's only a $400 job, it's only an $800 job. Kind of anything under $1,000, they tend to have this thought that it's not really money, like it didn't really happen. And it's like when you add up all those smaller jobs, all of a sudden you find, you've just brought in an extra $2,500 or something like that. So I see it in my tradies all the time as well, which is interesting. And for them, a lot of them, I'm never going to get them to track it every day, but I can get them to use the Xero app on their phone to check every day that if an invoice has been paid.
Yep. And PayPal is great too. I think knowing like using an account for expenses, for example, putting all of your, business expenses on a credit card, using PayPal, not to mash it all up, but using that as income. And then having separate accounts as well. So you've got personal and business. And some people just don't even know how to set that up properly. And something I've learned recently, because I'm doing a money mindset course through Sylvia Churchill called Be a Money Boss. How cool is that? She's all about have a profit account. And I've never thought of that. And I did a speaking gig the other day and I sold 10 books. So that for me, that's profit. You know, yes, okay, the book costs a bit of money, but I invested that so long ago that I now see that as profit.
Yeah.
And so that's really nice to then go, I'm going to put that in a separate account. So when I look at this account, it may only have a few $100s in there, but that's profit for me to go and spend on whatever I want. And so there's a real shift around that. But I wanted to touch on something that I feel women struggle with. Women struggle with actually charging what they're worth.
Yes, we do.
So there's a real mindset shift when we give away our stuff for free, right? And I've done this for years and I've really struggled with this. And I have launched my mentor program and I've changed it now to be $1,000 over 6 months. Extraordinary value for what they're going to get. But interestingly, if we got a little, that's my partner down on the floor. So hi, babe, doing the commando crawl to get something. But what's really interesting is the women I work with as well is being able to say you're worth way more than what you're charging, and to be able to step into your power. So for me to charge like it's $1,111 for my 6 monthly program, and I'm all about the year of the one, and that number to me is really powerful this year. But that for me is a lot of money to get someone to invest into my program. That's the most I've ever charged. But I got my first client this morning. So I know that I know, it's so exciting. So I know that it's worth so much. But it's taken me 5 years to charge that much. You know?
I have the exact, on my to-dos for this weekend is to go through and reevaluate what I charge, because whilst I have my regular bookkeeping clients, I have moved that up to be closer to what it should be, but I still struggle with just one-off training and so on I do around Xero and some other different add-ons, and I'm getting more and more of that stuff, but I'm still sitting here when I send the proposal going, no, I don't, and I waste half an hour of the time before I go, I'll just keep it at a safe level. And we can't continue to do that because
no, it doesn't. And you know this because KPI, the business course we did, they 100% tell you do not charge for your time. Do not say I am $150 an hour. And that's very difficult when someone says I just want one session. You know,
it is, isn't it?
It's very difficult. So I kind of go, look, I'll give you a session, and I go, you know, and in that session you get my course and my book, and I'll charge you X amount, right? But then if you decide to take my mentor program, which is obviously an additional cost, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'll just minus that off the mentor cost, because we've already established that you have a massive need and I can really help you, and that sits well with me.
Yes.
And so I think sometimes when you offer free sessions, people, you know, I don't know, it's like you want to charge your value. And sometimes people come and they get all the information and they go off and they don't come and do business. And it's like this real struggle between, I don't want to make you pay for it, but how do I demonstrate my value otherwise? So it's really all about how it sits with you internally. And for me, it's a massive lesson in self-worth.
Yes, I think I had a client recently who, although just an inquiry client, so I'd gone and met with them and they had got a lot of value out of the first meeting, and then we had a second meeting, and then they wanted to implement something that is a really not a huge amount of time on my behalf, but that's because I have the knowledge and experience.
Of course.
So then I was like, when he sent me the email to say he wanted to go ahead, I was like, okay. And then I was like, I need to charge for this. I need to charge. Like, I have to charge for it. I have to. When normally I would not. And so I sent him a reply email with an invoice attached, and he had it paid within the hour. And then I was like, why didn't I do that before? And so for me, really the last, probably leading into Christmas, maybe around October, November, I really started to think that I'm the only one holding me back, because my clients clearly will pay for it, because this one had and a few others have. And those who don't pay for it, well, they probably were never going to be my client anyway. And
they're not, absolutely.
It's just that reminder that we are, as you say, we have that value, and to try not to hold ourselves back. And I think it does, whether, you know, subconsciously or whatever, back to that mindset around we don't want to be the we don't want to be that family member who is flashy or all those negative things that we think about when we think of somebody who makes a lot of money. And I always use the example, if you go to a barbecue and there's a whole bunch of self-employed people there, that you'll all stand around and talk about how business is bad, staff are terrible, cash flow is tough, all those things. I said, but if one of you said, actually, my business is going really well and cash flow is great, I've got heaps of work coming in, what would the rest of you think of him or them? And we would all be like, tall poppy, they're this, they're that, whatever else. I said, I find in Australia where self-employed people, it's just par for the course to talk about how tough it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't, no, I don't want to talk about how tough. Like, I want to talk about how tough it is, but I want to talk about how tough it is so we can make it not so tough anymore. Like, we need to take that step and bridge that gap to start moving in the right direction, because I don't want to be 65 still talking about how tough my business is. Like, that's absolutely not going to happen.
When you're saying those words which have power, I've got no cash flow, I've got no money, I've got no clients, and it's like I've had to sort of change my language around it as well, because I'm like, the clients are coming, the money's coming, I can feel it, getting really excited about it. And just yesterday, we feel like my partner and I have really shifted our mindset around this. And my beautiful man put this photo on Facebook of him in a hammock with his laptop saying, can you believe I've actually been trying to get work since July? Right? This is insane. It's now March.
Yeah.
And he was inundated with messages from people connecting him. He then got an internal referral form because he's such a great project manager and engineer. That's like amazing, right? Doesn't even have to go through Seek, or he'd applied for this perfect job and they didn't even get his application. I'm like, call them. And this is what happens. It's like you send it off and you don't even know, it doesn't even get to the right person. And, we just felt all this love coming through. And then this morning, I had someone call me about my kids' yoga business and wanting to work with me. And the conversation flowed. And then she was the most perfect client for me to mentor. And she was like, I've been looking for a mentor for so long. And it was just, of course, I can help you with your kids' yoga business and confidence and motherhood and all the other stuff. And so it was just the most, and I was meant to have a massage this morning, which got cancelled. So I was like really sad face. But then I practiced gratitude and was just really in flow. And then boom, I had no idea that was going to happen, right? So it's my first client with my new program. So I think, when you're in this money mindset where it's tough, it's hard, it's not flowing, all you're manifesting is more of that. But if you elevate yourself and, you have this mindset around, it's coming, it will flow. And literally within one day, it was really beautiful yesterday. Our whole vibe shifted. We know it's going to flow for us. And we're just waiting for that to happen. It's instead of kind of going, oh my God, we've only got a certain amount left and it's disappearing. And then how are we going to pay the bills? And that, I was going down that road, and it's like, it's okay. It's coming. And also,
that's it.
I don't want Yago to go back to work. I want him to stay home with me. Right. Like we love them together, and then this opportunity that's come through, it's work from home. And I'm like, so we're just like, wow. So we'll just see how that flows. But I really believe magic happens when I'm doing a training program this weekend, and I really didn't have the money, right? And I was like, I just want to go. It's intuitive intelligence. I love the women doing it. I know all these women doing it, and they rave about the fact that it's life-changing.
Yeah.
And it was $500. And I was like, I just don't have it. Anyway, I called in some money, and it wasn't quite enough. And it was some interest I'd made on some money that I had. And then she'd had a cancellation. And I just sent her a message saying, do you know what? I'm coming. I'll just find the money. And then she went, babe, I've had someone cancel. Just come for half price. And I literally was like crying, going, that's the exact money I'd called in. So,
oh, wow. Yeah.
And it was just so meant to be. And, I'm so grateful for her. And also I will help her. She's writing a book, and I will help her with mentorship, right? So we've got this agreement. And that for me is beautiful. I'm honoring her. She's honoring me. That is money. That is energy. That is flow. So these things happen all the time. And I think we need to remember that the universe is always trying to give us what we want, but it's feeling our vibration all the time. So in that barbecue situation, be the one saying, my business is awesome. My business is great. My business lights me up. Even if you've got no income, doesn't matter. You know?
That's what I think. It's just about, and I find myself doing it because I'm a very practical type of person. So I'm, numbers background. So everything's black and white to me. There's no grey. So from a practical sense, I would have always been like, hey, you need to do this, and, we get that result. But more so over the last probably maybe 12 months or so, I've come to realize you can do all the practical steps, but if you don't have that mindset and you're not putting off the right energy and you're not doing those things, you just get stuck. And so it's like, okay. And for me, it's like, okay, I have to start realizing that there's more to this than black and white. In actual fact, there is area in between. And it's interesting you say about, something just popping up. Things, when I am focused on being more mindful about things, then all of a sudden, a bill pops in for this, and then that money pops in.
And it just comes in.
Yeah, it just comes in, and it's like, oh, why did I slack off on that? So for me, it's really a practice that I have to be really, really conscious of at the moment. And it's like, I dream of the day where it comes more naturally to me. But I find with my clients, when I'll be telling them things and they'll be like, oh, this guy hasn't paid or that hasn't paid. And I will, before I even think about it, it'll be like, well, that's not the right attitude to have. Like, let's think about it. They will pay. When are they going to pay? Let's make this sort of happen. And I find myself giving that advice. I'm like, oh, okay. It is starting to become more second nature to me, I guess. So,
we absolutely teach what we need the most. I really believe that. We fully do. I wrote this book about being this calm mum, and I'm always definitely not that calm. I need to really practice it. It's not natural for me to be this like Zen mother. And it's something I have to really cultivate, and it's the same with mindfulness. It's the same with mindset. All of these things, it's a daily practice. It doesn't just happen overnight where we go, oh, look at me, I'm a money magnet, and it's just all flowing in, and it just doesn't flow that way. It really is being so mindful of your choices and your words and your actions and your behavior, and really having for me, it's like I've always thought, money doesn't make you happy, right? We've always all been told that before. Money's the root of all evil. And I'm like, no, money's freedom, money's flexibility, money's me traveling the world with my family and taking Luna to meet her grandparents in Finland and going to stay in a glass igloo under the Northern Lights, which is full bucket list. So I've now done my vision board, and I want to have this beautiful wedding with Yako, and it's like we want to go back to Hawaii and we want to do all this stuff, and it's like, well, that's not going to happen unless you've got money to pay for it, right? Yes, we could win a wedding, like, of course, right? I did see one the other day and I was like, oh, should I enter? Like, win a wedding, because you never know. But it's like, I really feel that we limit ourselves with our self-beliefs that are they really limit our potential. And so we need to think bigger, and for us to be able to do that, it's, it's not just about invoicing and chasing invoices, because money is energy as well. So when a client doesn't pay you, I guess there's that shift of energy when you're working with them as well. And it's, I try to get clients to pay up front, but if they can't, then I will split them over 3 payments. But I understand that we don't just have money, in our bank accounts. But I really believe that if you want to really do something, that the money comes, or you find it somehow. If you really want to do something, like when I did KPI, I was a single mama. It was like $10,000. I put it on my credit card. I did not have $10,000. But I was like, I'm doing it. I will find the money. The money will come, and it did, right? And then publishing my book was like another 15,000. It's like, wow, like that's huge. Yeah. And you just go down this road, and you just have to have faith that what you decide to invest in, it's really all just personal development, I think, in terms of training and accountability and mentorship and like money mindset programs.
Yes.
Amazing. Invest in someone that can help you with your cash flow.
And I think we quite often hear, or, you see in groups or whatever, they say, I'm not investing in any other courses anymore. I've spent too much money on it. And I kind of think, okay, yes, you could spend too much money on it if you don't use them, but like you just said, I think you always have to grow and learn.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a time where I no longer want to learn something new. I just can't fathom it. For me, life is all about learning and growing.
Absolutely.
And seeing how, and for me, like I've done Sylvia's course when she did the first round, and I was like, oh, why spend money on it? It's money, it's this, it's that, it's similar, some similar concepts to what I do anyway. But then I thought, that's assuming that I know everything.
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay, need to get over myself on that one. I don't know anything. Did the course, of course, learned a huge amount around mindset, and actually that's probably where it all started. And then I was like, oh, don't ever discount anyone because they're in the same field or they do the same thing as you or whatever else, because you can always, if you're open, you can always learn.
Yeah, and that's why we need mentors, and we need to learn from other people who, like, that's their zone of genius.
Yes.
And, I really believe that, business is a journey, and I didn't know anything about social media, when I first started. I didn't know anything about all the things that you have to learn. Like, I definitely outsource accounting. I have a fantastic accountant. I've had him for 5 years. I love that he does all of that for me. That's not my zone of genius. I outsource all my tech. I outsource anything that doesn't serve me.
Yes.
Not, and I think that's really important. And I think accounting and money and finances for most people is a very negative part of what they do. They're not in control of it. Therefore, they should outsource it and bring in someone who can make it easy for you, because yes, you have to invest into that service, but if it's bringing money in, that's going to make you feel a lot more in flow. So thank you for sharing your beautiful work with us. And, I really appreciate it, because I think we need to have these conversations around money, and we need to be more mindful of the people we are engaging into our businesses, who can come in and make a real difference to that. And I know you've helped me with Xero, because, I don't know much about it. I just pay my $50 and, but it is great. Like, it's all there for you, invoicing and expenses, and all of it is there. And I think we just need to learn how to use the tools. There's all these apps as well that you can, like Pocketbook, and you can do daily tracking on your phone as well. And I love writing it down. For me, it's a practice of gratitude. So you got to find what flows for you. So thank you, my love, for being here. And
no problem.
Yeah, if the mamas who are watching or listening want to come and connect with you, Katie, where's the best place for them to go?
To probably Facebook's probably easiest for most people. So on Facebook, if you search Efficient Business Services, my Efficient Tradie page will pop up, because Facebook won't change my URL. So, but anyway, that's fine. Otherwise, you can send me an email, which is katie@efficienttradie.com. But you will see me around on Facebook anyway in a whole bunch of groups. So, yeah. Yeah,
Facebook only allow you to change it once, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had that. And this is the business, right? It changes all the time.
That's right. And it's fine if I have to. Yeah, it's fine if I put a link somewhere, because people just click on the link. But in this instance, it's like, okay, you have to search my old business name, not my new one.
Yeah, so that's why my advice is do everything under your name.
Yes.
Because then you can just have as many little facets of pockets. I've got Mother Roll, Magnetic Mama, like all this stuff, but it's just under Leonie Percy, and Yoga Mamata, it sits under that. So there's some advice for you. If you're creating anything, just do it under your name.
Yeah, your name.
just along your name. But thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And I look forward to connecting more with you online.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. Bye.